are back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So, for like the last 5 months, since I got here, since I started looking for a place to rent, I've also kept a fucking eye on property prices here because I was a little bit shocked at what you get here compared to what you get in Sydney. Like what you get here for, let's say, 1.5 mil compared to what you get in Sydney, like you wouldn't even believe it. You would not fucking believe it, and where you get it as well. Like my wife's friend bought a $2.3 million house. I think it's like 4 bedrooms or whatever in Bella Vista, which is about 50 minutes from Sydney in the west. 30 years ago, it was a cow fucking paddock. No one would have wanted to live there. No one in their right mind still wants to live there except Indians. And it's okay, but it's just a fucking house, whatever. If you spent 2.3 million here, you'd get a fucking house with a sprawling yard, 5 bedrooms, colonial fucking trimmings, like just a beautiful fucking house. You might even get a cow or two, maybe a chicken. But like the buildings here are fucking beautiful. So I've just casually kept an eye on property prices, maybe like once or twice a week as I'm procrastinating on something else. And I've been noticing around the Boston area a lot of price drops. Like cunts trying to sell their house and down 50,000, 75,000, 250,000. That was an expensive house though, but you know, there's price drops, which you never see in Australia. There's never any fucking price drops. And so I'm investigating a little bit more. I'm like, what's going on here? And there does seem to have been a turn in the market. Other places in the US are already feeling it. Like Austin, I think, is down like 30% or something like that. Some places in Florida are down like 20%, 25%. It hasn't hit the Northeast yet, but I'm looking in these places, and when you're on Zillow, you can go and see the price history. And I only look at the price drop houses, and I would say half of them, and I've only noticed this fucking, I would say, in the last 2 months, but half of them have been listed, price dropped, taken off the market, and then put back on the market at the original price, then price dropped again, and then continued to price drop. And then I'm looking at that going, all right, they can't sell these houses, and they're beautiful fucking houses, and they seem reasonably priced compared to Sydney, but they can't sell them. And then you go back in the history a little bit, you're like, all right, they tried to sell it 2025. When did they try and sell it? When was it last sold before then? And you go back and it's like, oh, it was last sold in 1992. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I've seen maybe a dozen like this. Sold 1992. And I'm not looking at a big area. I'm sort of looking around my area. Like, I'm not fucking going deep into the fucking property market here. I'm just looking and seeing if I can detect any trends. Anyway, these places have been put up for sale for the first time since 1992. And I'm like, oh, people are just trying to get out of it. Like, they're just trying to sell their place while the market's up before it turns bad. And then I heard property taxes have gone up like double digits for the last 2 years, which puts a strain on people, of course. And you can also see that as well. You can see what the property tax is for the previous year. And some of these are like fucking $12,000, which is $1,000 a month on a property you already own. That's nuts. That's fucking nuts. And then you've also got, on top of that, there's this thing, HOA, I forget what it stands for, but it's like the fucking community owner. It's like, what's it called in Australia? The body corporate or whatever the fuck it is. They look after like the gardens and the building and all that sort of stuff. You're looking at like $1,000 a month for some of these. On top of that, so that's another $12,000 a year. Property taxes, HOA, you're down $24,000 before you even start paying your fucking mortgage. So they're really tightening the fucking strings here. But anyway, I'm looking and I'm trying to figure out what the fuck it is. These 1992 houses, 94, hasn't been sold since 1996. And I started listening to this lady. She just popped up. Melody Wright. She's like a property... She's not a guru, but she's like an analyst. And she's driven from coast to coast. She fucking tracks 85 cities. And she's like, there's about to be... What does she call it? A silver tsunami. And what she means by that is there's about to be a fucking shitload of boomers die from like now until 2035. I think 15 million or something like this. And she's saying like a lot of these boomers aren't just like owning one house. They own like fucking several. They're landlords. And so these come onto the market and the kids just fucking sell. And so there's going to be intense supply pressure driving, call it supply pressure, pushing down these property prices all across the US while rates are still high. And she's saying it's not going to make a fucking difference if they lower rates because people can't afford places now. It's got out of control here and people just aren't buying. So the data shows that this is the lowest clearance rate since 1995. And as she points out, the population has grown 20% since then. So it is a lot worse than it sounds. Anyway, there seems like there is the rumblings of not exactly a 2008 global financial crisis in the property fucking market here, but something along the line seems to be brewing and it looks like it's compounding. It looks like something big is going to happen financially quite soon in the US, which will lead to like one of the biggest fucking money prints in the history of humanity to fucking dig out of the hole. Like it's going to be insane. Like it will make COVID look like a drop in the ocean. So unless you have some assets, just buy gold. Buy gold. That's it. I'm not going to try and convince you on Bitcoin. Bitcoin might fucking go down for a while during this shit. Just buy gold. That's it. You need assets. You need something to get you through. Buy some gold. Buy some silver. There's really not much else to say. Something's going on. Something's fucking going on. I've looked into it. I've kept my eye half on the property market for like once a week for 5 months. I think I know what's going on. Anyway, if you don't believe me, go listen to Melody. Melody as in the same name as one of my fucking daughter's classmates, and Wright as in W at the start, Wright. Just YouTube a few of her things and she gets into the fucking nuts and bolts of it and it kind of looks bleak. Anyway, fucking that'll do for tonight. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and I'll see ya the fuck later.